Hey you guys, I'm Chef D-Max. Welcome to the kitchen. I got my buddy Doug with me today. Super exciting. My old roommate in college. He's from New York, Italian, and we're going to do an Italian dish for you. What's better than basil pesto? Everybody loves that, so stay tuned with us. Click subscribe if you're not doing that. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and ring that bell, and I'll make sure to send you all the new stuff we have coming up. So see you back in a second. Okay guys, we're back. Basil pesto. Now Doug, you said this is your favorite recipe, right? Basil pesto?
Yeah. My kids love it. It's a quick meal. I mean, it doesn't have to be, it's 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You can have it done. We have fresh basil. I like pecorino romano cheese. Some people might like Parmesan.
Yeah, and pecorino is like, and it's kind of, and that is a little different too because pecorino is from the south, right? It's more of a sheep's milk.
Right.
Where Parmesan is more of a cow's milk from the north. And this being a northern dish, you would see probably more Parmesan in it.
Yes.
But the pecorino's got that saltiness in it too.
Which
You're
I
also
like.
from a more southern part of Italy too, aren't you?
Yes, yeah. Naples, Sardinia. So yeah, we have southern tradition cooking.
Yeah, so pecorino romano is more of a sheep's milk cheese, right?
Yes.
And so you would see this in the south more, right, than the north. And pesto being a dish that was invented more in Liguria, like the northern Genoa, those areas where you saw it more probably with Parmesan Reggiano because it's a cow's milk cheese, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but you're from the south, right?
Yeah. People in the north put their nose down at pecorino.
They do, right?
They do, yes. So, but I love it. It has a nice saltiness, and it's perfect for pesto, I think.
And that's, this is what's I like the most about cooking and modern cooking is like it kind of breaks all the molds of like you said, the south and the north. They're two different things, and they like really judge how something's being made and how traditional somebody is. And I think. At the end of the day, you got to go by flavor, know, and what you like. And some people just like the saltiness of a pecorino romano cheese over that. I do too. I think it goes better with seafood. Like a lot of people, some people say, well, you don't put cheese with seafood, but pecorino romano works great with seafood because of the saltiness. It's dry, right? It's exactly so. Anyway. Well, let's get started. So you show us how you treat the basil here, because basil's a big component. You've got to have a really good basil, right?
Right. Good. It's best to get it when it's in season, of course, but you can get it year-round. Critical for the basil is to wash it properly because there can be a lot of dirt and sand. So I fully soak it in water.
Yeah, look at this.
So
you guys can see he's got this submerged in water, and what you don't want to do is move it around too much right after it's been soaking because the dirt kind of goes down to the bottom, right?
Yeah, and you'll see it at the bottom. So that's critical to clean it well, and then take it out.
Go ahead and drain it, and you're just going to drain it on some paper towels. Hey, well, now while he's doing that, I've got some bow tie pasta here. We're going to use bow tie pasta because this kind of a sauce needs a textural pasta, right?
Something to grab the pesto.
It's not really good with spaghetti or linguine, right, or capellini because it doesn't hold the pesto like this this bow tie. Or you could use, you like what? You like rigatoni? What do you like?
Rigatoni, like a small rigatoni. I like ziti.
Yeah.
But
they're all good. They're all good. Anything with got good body and texture to it.
Yeah, with a little meat to it.
So I'm dropping this over in some salted boiling water. That's going to take about 8 to 10 minutes, depending on your type. Let me get rid of this.
You just want to make sure the basil is quite dry.
Quite dry, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so while he does that, we're going to put garlic. Now, garlic's another one that we talked about. Garlic. I talked about garlic with Doug. We both sometimes don't put garlic, or I'll put the garlic confit that I make. You guys who follow me a lot, you'll see like garlic confit. If you click above here, I'll share that garlic confit recipe with you. That's basically garlic that's already been cooked, and so it's gonna have a very mild, sweet garlic flavor. Where a lot of people think, okay, to make a pesto, you gotta put pine nuts, basil, ton of garlic. That's not true. when you put a ton of garlic, you're actually killing this dish. So with this, I'm going to show you actually how I've taken 1 clove of garlic. We're not even going to use the whole thing. I've pulled out the inner part here, which tends to be a little bit bitter, right? And I'm going to just slice this up into some thin slices. And the reason we're doing that is because we're going to put this little half of a garlic clove in your pesto, but we want to slightly cook it, right? So we're going to turn on our, well, let me actually.
It cuts down on the harshness of the garlic to roast it a little bit.
To roast it, right?
Yeah.
So here, I'm going to turn this on, okay? And we're going to put some extra virgin olive oil in, right? Because we're going to reuse this, right? Not only we're going to use this in the pesto, but I can take this garlic at this point, and we want to lightly toast it in this oil. And we'll end up using this, not only using the garlic in here, but we can use the oil to toast your pine nuts, right?
Right, and it's infused with a little garlic flavor, which is nice.
Yeah. So realistically, and I know I've had your pesto, and it's amazing. And I mean, have you adjusted this from what your family tradition would be, or is it more of your style of this one?
Yeah, it's my own style with the pecorino. I choose heavy cream.
Okay, so you put a little heavy cream in it too,
Yeah.
which is very northern. They use a lot of dairy in there versus the South.
And it gives you a creamy texture to the pesto. And it also brings it together very well.
Yeah, I mean, and that's because you're not, like, another thing is the nuts. You usually don't put pine nuts in your puree, right?
I don't.
Which is weird because so many Northerns will always, they'll fill it up in it. But it's also, pine nuts in Italy are a little bit cheaper than they are for us, right? I mean, like, this is probably $6 or $7 in pine nuts. I mean, it's very expensive. It's probably one of the most expensive nuts, right?
And they come from the pine cone.
Right.
And they have to be harvested, by hand.
Yeah.
Which is why they're so expensive.
It's expensive to do that. Exactly. So, okay, so now we've got this really getting hot. We want to make sure we don't burn it, right? So what I'm going to do is, as it toasts like this, we're going to get this toasted flavor. It takes off the rawness, right? That's what we're looking to do.
And you're getting more of a sweetness.
Right, you get that sweetness, right?
Right.
So I'm going to take these out. We'll put that with a little of that oil in your basil. And then you're going to put, what do you put next? The cheese?
The cheese.
Okay, so go ahead and put the cheese in. And then I'm going to put the pine nuts in this. Now you want me to put all these and toast them?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
You could always save some for something else.
Okay, now we'll toast them off.
And
why not?
I use a lot of cheese.
You do?
Yeah,
That's literally, like, I would say, we're looking at almost a cup.
Almost
right?
a cup, yeah.
So you have a full, like, what we'd call a full bunch of basil, which is, I don't know, like a cup, like a half a cup of pressed basil leaves, probably, and then like a full cup of cheese, right?
Right.
And then how much cream are you going to put in
Well,
there?
I'm just going to kind of drizzle it over. I would say like...
That's like a tablespoon so far, right?
Maybe a little more than a tablespoon.
Okay.
And you could always, if you find that the pesto is a little bit too stiff, you could always add a little bit more heavy cream to it.
Yeah.
And then olive oil.
Now this is another thing you guys want to watch when you're doing this. I mean, and I've got people in the kitchen are cooking pine nuts or something like this, and they're not paying attention, and they don't realize, how much they cost, and they just kind of like not paying attention, and immediately can burn those, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's like
you have to have an eye on the pinoli nuts when you're roasting them.
Roasting them.
I can't tell you how many times
I've seen somebody burn like 4 pounds of them before, which is at $20 a pound or something. It's a lot of money. $80 down the drain, right?
Definitely not something you can walk away from.
You cannot walk away from it. So you can see here, as I'm stirring these, I've turned the heat on, and I'm like toasting these on residual heat.
You see how golden brown.
Yeah, so some of them are golden, and then I want to stir it nice so they evenly kind of golden up here. I got one stray one. I want to taste them. But they're nice when they're like just a little bit nutty. And we could actually take a little pink salt. And I like to put a little salt on them in case you get a random one that has like a little season in it. I like that too.
Right.
But, okay. So
They're almost ready there.
They're ready, right? Yeah, so I've turned them off, and they're just going to cool in that olive oil, okay?
Another thing critical for pesto for me, I don't blend it until I'm ready to eat it and serve.
Okay.
You know?
Hey, that's a good, that's a good note. It's super fresh that way. Because the basil leaves are going to lose a lot of the green if it's sat. Like I know when you go to I know both of us have spent time in Cinque Terre, and in that area they sell a lot of like local, everybody makes kind of their local version of pesto. And you'll see pestos in jars that have been around for a long time. And they don't get that vibrant green. They're not going to have the vibrant green, but it is nice when you do this vibrant green.
If I'm doing it to use at a little bit later than, serving it right away, what I will do is blend the pesto, and then you can put it in a nice stainless steel bowl, and then you cover it with a layer of olive oil, and that'll keep the green color until you're ready to serve it.
All right.
And you can put it in the refrigerator as well, like that. So you can, if you left it on its own without that cover of olive oil, it'll turn brownish, you know, eventually. So.
No, for sure. So we've got our pestos ready to blend. We've got our pine nuts. We're going to be back and hold on. Yeah, and we'll wait. And as soon as this pasta is done, we'll cook. So we'll be back in about 2 to 3 minutes. This pasta's going to be done. And we'll see you back in a second. Okay, guys, the pasta's cooked already, so I've got it here. And like you said, you want to have the hot pasta ready because the sauce is not warm.
It's at room temperature.
Yeah, it's room temperature, so yeah, it's got to be done. So you're going to start that now. Go ahead and rock it out. Okay. So you need a little oil, right?
A little bit of oil, and I'm also going to, scrape it around with the spatula so we're blending it all up.
Do you want me to put some pepper in?
A little bit.
We'll put a little pepper in for spice.
A little bit.
And you said it doesn't need salt, right? Because
the
pecorino romano is super salty, right?
Right. So you definitely don't need to add salt to that.
Okay.
Now this is it's a little bit thick. So I'm going to add a little bit. I'm going to add a little olive oil.
Okay. More olive oil.
A little more. Yeah.
Okay. And that's it. With this kind of thing, you just it's not a really measurement, right? It's like you just go.
And now now I'm getting a nice creamy pesto. And you want to make sure the basil is blended, but you don't want it to be super fine either. So we're almost ready. I'm just going to scrape it a little bit around here and give it one more quick blend.
Do you want any more oil or you're good?
No, I think we're good.
That tastes really good.
And there we have it.
And there you have it. So you've got like a nice, smooth, beautiful green basil pesto, right?
Right.
And then we're gonna. Okay, so you want to add it in here? Yeah, you can probably take that thing and just plop.
I'm gonna take this out.
Yeah, you can set it over there.
We can get some off that. We don't want to waste any.
Don't want to waste it.
Right?
Don't waste any, dude.
It's like gold.
Well, pine nuts aren't in there, so it's not super expensive, but pecorino's not cheap either, though.
No.
Good. And you should buy, when you buy pecorino romano, don't buy, of course, being an American, I support American products, but there's certain things you can't, that we don't do as good. I haven't tasted an American pecorino that I like better than like really true Italian pecorino. So until I taste that, I would always say buy real Italian pecorino, buy real Italian Parmesan Reggiano. Because
absolutely, if you can get it,
right? The domestic versions are just not they're just not as good. Okay, yeah. So here we've got this beautiful pasta. Now, what's cool about it too, like you said, like having a nice shape like this, right? Really, the pasta
it's capturing it. Yeah, absolutely. It looks beautiful.
It looks great, right? And then you're getting more out of it because you're putting more pine nuts. You put more pine nuts on top. So you're saying is like rather than just wasting the pine nuts by putting them inside, it's like put them on the outside, get the texture of the nut itself and the visual of it, right?
Yeah, it adds a little bit of color. It's just a nice finishing touch.
It is, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to put enough in here for us to have a little lunch, and then.
And like I said, it's ideal for you to make it and eat it right away.
Exactly, right?
So.
Okay, hold on one second. All right, so now with this, That's a little hot, so I'm just gonna leave that there. And you just scatter it on top, right?
Absolutely.
That
That's
looks
perfect.
beautiful.
Yeah,
right?
really nice.
So you're putting a nice tablespoon on there. Look at that.
And then I'll add a little bit of, fresh basil garnish on top of there.
Okay, cool.
Just give it a little color, a little.
Yeah, a few basil leaves. And
Right.
you put ever a little bit of extra cheese?
I do. Yeah,
And-
I
and
love cheese.
And it's like we just
I mean,
we
you
don't
don't
need a
need it,
lot.
right?
Yeah, because there's a lot of cheese. You
Yeah.
put a boatload of cheese in there. And but look how creamy and great that looks. All right, dude. The moment of truth.
Bon appetito.
Buon appetito. See?
Very nice.
Super nice, dude.
If we don't say so ourselves.
Oh my God. So you guys can see, a pesto like this is going to be the easiest sausage you're going to do for your family at home, right? Mm-hmm. You have a little basil tree growing outside or a little bush growing outside. You pick that or you go get a bunch from the market. You throw cheese in there, a little heavy cream, right? And you just boil your pasta and you're done. This is so simple,
It's a
right?
gourmet meal and it's quick.
Now,
and
do
easy.
you ever use a different nut as a topping? I've made walnut pesto before, and it works pretty well. I put a little in, toasted, and sometimes I put a little crust on top.
Right.
And it's pretty nice, but there's the luxury of a real pine nut, right?
It
You
is.
can't replace
yeah,
it. Right?
that's it. Right.
It really is. So, all right. Well, thanks, Doug.
Okay.
I know. Well, you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions on there, comment below. Otherwise, we'll see you back in the kitchen soon. I'm Chef Dean Max and Doug.
Thank you.